Good morning, it's October the 24th, and as you can see there has been a drastic change since I last walked on Friday. I should have walked on Saturday, but I was just busy and didn't get around to it, and then yesterday it was just miserable, and it's not exactly pleasant today, but at least it's not actively snowing with wet snow, which it was yesterday. It would have made me very wet, so yes, we have had our first significant snowfall. Big wet snowfall yesterday, and so this will be the first wintry walk. I don't think it'll stick. It's supposed to be plus 10 by this weekend, so that should finish it off. But there might still be some clinging in shadows and stuff. It wouldn't surprise me. There's certainly no indication of melting for the next couple of days, so I think my next couple of walks will be snowy. Although Wednesday, I don't know if I'll get in a walk because I have to go up to Saskatoon for a book launch at Amigo's Cantina. Now up there, I don't think they had snow, so maybe I can do a walk up there if there's no snow up there and contrast it to Regina. But I'll probably be too busy to make that effort. Anyway, here I am for today. Now, last year at the first snowfall, which was November 11th, so this is quite a bit earlier than last year's first significant snowfall, I fell down. But it's not quite that icy today. It's right around freezing, maybe a degree or two below freezing. And so it's not hard, slippery ice. Mostly slush that I'm walking on here. Quite a bit of water in the gutters too. It started with rain, so it was very, very wet. The snow that is here is very heavy. Some branches down here and there for trees that suddenly realized how much weight they were bearing on those old branches. Our poor lilac bush out front was quite flattened for a while until I knocked off the snow. I'm going to spend some of the day, probably all the day, straightening up my office. It gets to the point, I'm kind of like this. I'll get it all nice and neat and say, oh, it's so tidy, I'll just keep it like that, but it never quite works. The next thing you know, I'm drowning in boxes of books and stacks of paper. So I'm going to take care of that today. I need to clean that and organize it, and it'll make me feel prepared to launch into my next big nonfiction project, which is the book based on the podcast World Shapers, where I talk to other science fiction fantasy authors about the creative process. I'm writing a nonfiction book about the creative process, drawing on those interviews. And I need to do a sample chapter in the next week or two, ideally, because there is a publisher that wants to look at it, and who knows, maybe I can get a contract, which would be nice. No guarantees. It'd be nice to have some money up front working on something like that, because otherwise I have to juggle money-making projects while I try to get the book done. Plus I got my novel that I'm working on right now. I'm not going to let that slip anymore. I'm going to work on that every day. So, and then there's all the publishing stuff. I'm so busy. I'm not quite as religious about walking as I was when I started doing this, and I never missed a day. I just can't keep up that schedule right now. Some days I just have to not do it so I have a little more time. Stairs have not been cleared. Didn't figure they would be for this snow. Usually the first snow, the general consensus is it's going to melt. We don't have to worry too much about it, but it can be a few days. But it is supposed to be +7, +8, 10 this weekend, so that should take care of this first snow. And it could be a month before we get another one. Or we could get another one in a week and then it sticks. You just don't know. Looks Christmassy anyway. I'm sure all the kids going trick-or-treating are hoping for better weather than this. And it doesn't look too bad for trick-or-treat night. Not bitterly cold as it has been sometimes. That's when it will have warmed up a bit more, so it should be, I think it's supposed to have a high of 5 or 6 or 7 that day. So it'll cool off as the sun goes down and the kids come out, but it's not supposed to be bitterly cold. And I'll go out and take a walk on Halloween, as I did last year. Spooky. Now, will I see any dogs on this walk? I bet you I do. Doesn't matter what the weather is, people have to walk their dogs. Supposed to get a little more snow today, but nothing significant. Nobody has checked in and said hello yet this morning. I thought the snow would draw viewers like flies. Just going to do kind of my standard walk today. Maybe go a little further than I sometimes do. It's because it's the first snow walk. But just follow the path. Follow the frozen white road. Follow the frozen white road. Follow. You can tell it's windy because there are ripples moving the wrong way on the creek. Those ripples are going upstream. Follow the frozen white road. Well, there's been a bit of clearing on the footbridge here, it looks like. All right, take a look at the ripply water with the wind blowing down it and the snow on either side. That's looking east. That's looking west. This is looking south. And then we'll turn west. To everything, turn, turn, turn. There is a season, turn, turn, turn. And that's what the seasons are doing. Turning. I have to walk fairly briskly because I'm wearing a light coat. Should be warm enough with exercise, but the wind is sharp, so I'll be glad when I'm no longer walking west. Right now I'm going directly into the teeth of the wind. And the wind chill is several degrees colder than the -1 or 2 that it is. Wind chill is probably more like -10. I know, wind chill's not real temperature, it's just a measure of how quickly heat is sucked out of things, but this heat is being sucked out of your body, so as far as your body's concerned, it feels like it's colder. It's often misunderstood though, because people think, well, the wind chill is 40 below. Yes, but if the actual temperature is -20, nothing is actually going to get colder if you're measuring the temperature than -20. The -40 is just a reflection on how quickly heat is sucked out of an object to get it to that -20 temperature. And that's why you experience it as colder than the air temperature, because the heat is getting sucked out of your body as quickly as if it were still air at whatever the wind chill temperature is. Hello, Rudy. This is why you live in the tropics. Yeah, I can understand that. Oh, that's better. A little bit of windbreak. Morning. bounding through the snow. Bounding through the snow. With a long fluffy red tail. Oops. Bushy, really, not fluffy. Speaking of bushy tails, not that great segue. My newest book is out, The Tangled Stars, published by Job Books. Far future, humorous space opera heist story featuring, here's the tail part, an AI uplifted talking cat who becomes a starship captain by the end of the book. Technically he becomes a starship, and captain. And for that to make sense, you'll have to read the book, which you can find everywhere. Well, it's an ebook. There's no print version, but it's an ebook and audiobook. You can find it at books2read.com, numeral 2, / The Tangled Stars. And I highly recommend you do so. The anthologies I mentioned, you can find at books2read.com / Shapers of World, Shapers of Worlds 2, numeral 2, and Shapers of Worlds 3. Or you can go to shadowpawpress.com, buy them directly from the website. For some reason, my camera is slanting to one side. The gimbal is confused. Maybe it doesn't like the wind. I mean, it's not really at that angle, the horizon. It should be more like that. But I can't hold it like that because, of course, it'll jiggle like crazy. That's the whole purpose of the gimbal, is to avoid that jiggling. Maybe it'll figure it out as we go. I used to worry about that more than I do now. It's just impossible to do anything about it. Probably has to do with the way I'm holding the gimbal too. Maybe if I hold it more upright, I get a little more leveler. Yeah, that's probably it. There's that wind again, right in my face. Yeah, that does seem to help. I make a point of keeping the gimbal vertical. It's better at keeping the horizon level. Oh, that makes sense. It's only taken me a year to figure that out. Oh boy. I don't know if I want to keep walking into the wind as far as I was thinking of going. I might alter my path so I turn around sooner to put it behind me. I don't have a scarf on, and the zipper on this coat tends to fall down. Let's see if I can pull that up a little bit to help my throat stay warmer. There we go. Maybe that'll help. Mainly just my neck is getting cold. I'm warm enough in my jacket and gloves and hat since I'm also walking. And this is nothing, of course. Later on I'll be walking when it's minus 20 or minus 25 or minus 30. I did it last year, so I assume I can do it again this year. Although at really cold temperatures, the iPhone battery dies really quick. I don't even necessarily make it all the way around the lake before the battery dies. That happened to me on the coldest days last year. The gimbal battery goes down faster too with the colds. You have to make sure it's all well charged before you go out. Coming up to Elphinstone Street here. And by the horseshoe pitch over here, which, as I often comment, I've only once in a year and a half of walking seen anybody playing horseshoes there, but it's maintained, so Probably somebody does. And there's a sign about the Horseshoe Club in their website. I'm sure they'd welcome me as a new member if I wanted to join, but Horseshoes doesn't appeal to me that much. To me, it's something the old guys used to play when we visited relatives in Missouri when I was a kid in the 70s and 60s. I was a little kid in the 60s, teenager in the 70s. Okay. Certainly fewer people on the path than I sometimes encounter. Slightly later in the morning, I had to wait for our cleaning lady to show up before I went out. But so there's no school kids already in school. But I've only seen that guy back there with the sled pulling with his little kid. I haven't seen a dog, which is very unusual. If I do not see a dog on this whole walk, that'll be some kind of record. That is a nasty wind. If it was any colder than it is, I'd be wearing my parka and have a scarf. I kind of wish I had a scarf on my face now, but I don't, so it is what it is. So I mentioned the book launch in Saskatoon on Wednesday. I'm hoping the roads are okay. They should melt off as soon as we get a little sunshine at this temperature. And with all the traffic on them, they're probably already clear. Going up for the book launch of Thickwood, which is a novel I'm publishing through Shadowpaw Press, written by Gail M. Smith. It's her debut novel. It's a great story set in post-war Saskatchewan in the Thickwood Hills, which are up where the prairie turns into the boreal forest. And quite a bit north of here, north of Saskatoon. Almost up to Prince Albert territory. And she's grown up on a horse ranch and wants to come back and raise horses, but in the meantime, she's been playing professional women's baseball in the All-American Girls Professional League. That's a league of their own, if you've ever seen that movie or watched the TV show that's out now. For the Rockford Peaches. So the story is kind of how she's trying to find her place in Thickwood when her family lease, their ranch, is going to be swallowed up by the new community pasture. And also there's a problem with her former baseball coach has a rogue stallion that kills one of her prize colts, and so a lot of conflict flows out of that. So there's a little bit of romance, there's sports, there's horses, baseball, got everything you could want in a book. And you can find it at bookstoread.com. Again, that's #2/Thickwood. Or wherever you buy books, you should be able to order it. Unlikely you'd find it in a bookstore, but all bookstores are online and all books are available online. It's in print, an ebook, and audiobook, narrated by Elizabeth Klett, who's a wonderful narrator who narrated my Shards of Excalibur books that I always talk about when I walk around the lake, because they start in a very specific spot around the lake on the North Shore, looking at Willow Island. But that was Friday's walk. Today we're looking east again along Wascana Creek and west again. Again, the ripples are coming toward me, even though the water's flowing the other way. It doesn't have a lot of flow right now. There's not a lot of water coming out of the lake over the spillway. So, on the other hand, there was a lot of moisture yesterday, so that may have raised the level and picked things up. See, they haven't bothered to clear this path. They will in the winter proper, but this is just a bit early. and they'll expect it to still melt off, which I think it will this coming weekend. Going to be 2 or 3 days of it being white, though, it looks like. A little taste of what's to come. Winter is coming. It's not just a slogan from Games of Thrones. I have other books from Shadowpaw Press to sell at the book launch, and there's one the next night here. So Wednesday night, if you're in Saskatoon and you happen to hear this, Wednesday night, October 26th, 7 p.m., Amigos Cantina, and then the following night, Thursday, October 27th, here in Regina in the Arizona Room at Bushwhacker, which is a brew pub, the best brew pub in Canada, we think. We really like their beer. And we keep trying beer other places, but we never find anything we like more, and most things we don't like as much. That's what Bushwhacker brews. They're in an old warehouse building. I've walked by it a few times on walks down Dewdney Avenue. So it's a big space, but the Arizona Room is its own separate little room just inside the door, so you can have private events in there. Which is what I'm doing. Not providing food. People can just order off the menu. These bends are strictly for aesthetic reasons. They're certainly not the shortest distance between 2 points. It'd be a much shorter walk if not for the bends. You can walk right along the creek edge, which I have sometimes, but that wouldn't be any fun today with the fresh snow. This wet, especially this wet, clingy stuff. Soppy. Yesterday it was just slush everywhere. It's a little better today because it's a little colder. My feet got wet. Just wearing my runners yesterday. I don't know what I was thinking. Why I didn't put on my boots. Which is what I'm wearing today. What are you wearing? Leather jacket. Toque. Gloves. Jeans. Warm enough except for, they said a scarf might have been a nice touch, but now that I've zipped the collar, there's an inner collar to this leather jacket, which I've zipped all the way up, and that's made a big difference. Because of the heat of walking, I'm usually pretty good just in the leather jacket and a sweater under it until it's about -8 or 9. So quite a bit colder than now. Then I'll switch to the parka, where I always sweat up a storm. It's hard to get that balance right when you're exercising. It's just the whole dress in layers, but when I'm doing this, it's not like I can shed a layer when I get too warm. I'm stuck with whatever choice I make heading out. Won't be seeing much more baseball there. One of the many city-owned fields, mostly used for slow pitch, I think. I've hardly seen anybody on that one. We're very close to the creek again over here now. We'll go under the bridge. I don't think I'll go all the way over past the Louvain. We'll see. Maybe I will. Turns it into a solid hour on a good day, and with the slightly slower walking because of the snow, that might be too much for everything else I want to get done today. So I'm going to take a different approach. But I will go through this bridge and into the next section, and then I'll decide. More of a workout for my legs too on days when there's a little bit of snow. So you just have to work that little bit harder when you walk. I think it's partly, more resistance when you put your foot down, and a bit of slipperiness that you're always watching out for, so you're always kind of balancing a little bit more. Oh, well, under here there's no snow, of course. Just water. No ice yet. But that'll come too. You can kind of see the wind there blowing cat's paws, as they're called, across the creek. One way to see if there's more water in the creek will be to see how much water is going over the weir up here. Last two times I came by, almost no water was going over top. It's a water level control device. So if the water has raised significantly because of all the moisture yesterday, it's probably flowing over top. So let's take a look. It's right up here around this bush. And I'm going to go that way, I think. Why is there a car there? This is a bike path. There's no way out there. We're going around that way. Weird. Yeah, there's quite a bit more water. Once I get up here, you'll be able to see it. Not exactly racing over it, but there was no water at all going over that. Oh, that's the wind catching the phone. There's no water at all going over that last time I came this way. So that's a sign that we got quite a bit of moisture. Okay, well, I'm going to have to wade through fairly untroubled and therefore deeper snow here, but we're going to go this way. Right where that car just went by. I've never seen a car drive down there before. Oof! Can't see the uneven spots in the ground. It's the other hazard. I have fallen once. Not here, but just on the other side of this ball diamond in the snow. It was much deeper though. I thought it was hard enough to bear my weight, but it wasn't, so I fell to my knees. That's what happened. I don't know why you would come this way either. There's no apparent reason to drive around this ball diamond. Unless they're lost, which is always possible. I may follow in their tire tracks instead of wading through more unbroken snow up here. There's a path there, but it doesn't look like anybody's been along it, so I'll follow the road as well. And then go, there's a dog. Darn it. Thought this was going to be my first no dog day. But it's just another dog day morning. It should be the prequel to Dog Day Afternoon, but no such movie has been made. Probably go through here. It's a bit of a road. Once we're around the old school here, which is where Saskatchewan Express, the performing arts group and school, hangs out, we will have the wind behind us for the rest of the walk, which will be nice. Is this a big puddle? So I really don't need to step in a big puddle. Looks a bit puddly for sure. Another puddle to avoid. These are apartment buildings here. And then, as I said, this old school is Saskatchewan Express headquarters now. Before Saskatchewan Express moved in there, but after the school had closed, I rehearsed a show in there. But that must be 25. Heck, that must be more than 30 years ago now. First time I played El Gallo in the Fantastics. It's High Productions, long gone. But we rehearsed here. Oh. Nice break from the wind. None at all in this particular spot. Don't think there's anybody in Saskatchewan Express this morning, but there's their main entrance right here. Ta-dum. That's the entrance. Looks just like a school, doesn't it? There's the logo. I almost stepped off into that water thinking it was sidewalk, but it's just water. Yeah, there's cars coming both ways, so I will wait a moment before I cross over. Pine trees always look Christmassy with fresh snow on them. I think I might walk down the other side here. It's hard to say. Let's go down the other side. I don't usually walk down this side anyway, but it looks like it might be a little clearer. There's the park and the creek, which we kind of left behind us now for the moment. I don't think I'll go rejoin it. I think I'll just head home from here down the street. This is 15th Avenue if you're following along at home, which you probably aren't. So you get a little bit of autumn still happening here, but with the snow on it. It's very pretty on these red colored hedges. This will have brought down a lot more leaves. We're supposed to get our leaves cleared soon, but it's going to have to melt off before they'll do that, I think. So it won't be this week probably, but maybe they'll be able to do it next week. The city came and cleared leaves off the street last week before. So I went out for a walk. It was all clear on the street. By the time I came back, I think I went downtown, so it was a few hours later. There were leaves all over the street again because they always do that way too early, it seems like. But I know they're balancing the risk of something like this happening, although it just seems if they waited a little bit longer, they'd be able to sweep up more leaves than they actually managed to do. But they don't ask me what they should do. That's the entire problem with the world. Nobody asks me what they should do, because I could fix some things if they did. Now, what is he doing? He just came out. Oh, he has to go back up the other side to pick up the garbage on the other side of the street. That makes sense, because you only pick it up from one direction. Well, thank you. I'll wait till he's out of the way. You just sort of see the garbage being picked up on the other side. It's all automated. So if we watch, you'll see. And it goes. Yep. And for some reason, my phone went wonky. Huh. I wonder what happened there. Maybe I accidentally pressed the wrong button. I don't know. So, pardon me for that sudden upside down-ishness. You may have seen me there. I don't know. I usually try to stay behind the camera. Not because I'm shy of cameras. I used to have a TV show, so I've been interviewed a million times on TV. These ones don't seem to have been put down properly, or something else happened to them. Anyway, much less snow here at least. Or much less wind, same amount of snow. But I think this sidewalk is a bit clearer than the other side. So, made a good choice walking down this side today. Park's just over there. It's a bit slippery in spots, but not as slippery as last year when I fell after the first snow. It was colder that day. And I think it had been thawing and then froze hard, and that's what makes ice. Maybe icier tonight. Temperature drops well below freezing instead of just hovering around freezing like it is right now. See, if I hold it straight up, yeah, I think part of the problem with the gimbal is just that I tend to slowly change the angle I'm holding it at. If I concentrate on holding it more upright, I'll probably get a more consistently level horizon and don't have to keep adjusting the direction I'm pointing. However, having said that, I'm sure it'll wander again. Okay, we will go, we'll go down this way. towards the Neil Balkwell Civic Arts Centre. On the sidewalk, the streets are definitely a little slipperier because of the compression of the snow by the cars. Makes ice. Water covered ice, which is the worst. Whereas on the sidewalk here, it's mostly fairly rough. We were supposed to get potentially 10 to 15 centimeters yesterday. I don't think we got that much. 10 centimeters is about 4 inches. 15 centimeters is about 6 inches. I don't think we got that much, although it's hard to tell when the ground is still warm and it's wet, because it melts and settles much more. Oh, that's definitely a puddle I want to avoid. So even though there's not 6 inches or 4 inches of snow on the ground, now it's slippery again. I'm going to go to the other side. We may have had 4 inches if you measured it as it fell and let it pile up somewhere where it didn't melt. Playground in the snow there. Oh, somebody else said hello. Who's that? Hello. Looks like Ching Li. Hello. Harder walking over here because this is unbroken snow. Maybe I should go down the creek again, down this side of it, since of the snow. This is the Neil Balkwell Civic Arts Centre. You can take art classes there, and there's a little art gallery in there as well. I'm so strong. I don't know. Saskatchewan tough. That's what I am. You get used to walking in snow when it's snow in the ground for basically 6 months of the year. 5 to 6, depending on the year. Otherwise, you couldn't go anywhere. It's not terribly cold. It's right around freezing. Maybe a degree below. Possibly even 2 degrees below, but no more than that. By our standards, that's mild. Not so much for this time of year, it's always what you're used to. So the first time it goes below freezing, you think it's really cold. If it climbs up to freezing in January, you think it's a heat wave and people are out in their shorts. So tell them what you're used to. Walks are good. Good exercise. More interesting way to see the landscape too. When you're up close, so when you're walking, you see stuff you never see when you're driving or riding in a bus or a train or something. Back to Elphinstone here. It's a city bus. There is a crosswalk here, so it doesn't have a light on it, but it's marked. So if I get hit, it's the car's fault, so that's always a comfort. Another puddle. Looking south along Elphinstone. Okay, we'll walk down and walk along the excuse me, north side of the creek now. I don't think 3 times. Not today. I'm sure it adds a few minutes. You're just a little slower because you're being more careful. And as I said earlier, there's a bit more effort, especially if you walk in the unbroken snow. On the sidewalks, it's not that different. Just because of the slipperiness kind of slows you down a little as you're working a little harder. And there's more resistance when you put your foot down. So it has to go through the snow. But certainly not 3 times more. Just a few minutes more. For this, what'll be about a 50-minute walk probably. Maybe, if it's maybe a 45-minute walk, that'll be 50 today or something like that. All right, now I'll go back by the creek since this is supposed to be a creek walk. That's why I changed my mind and decided I would walk along the dike here again. And there's the creek. Wascana Creek. It'll be frozen solid in another month probably. Ow! Ow! Caught my foot on something that almost twisted my ankle there because I couldn't see it under the snow. That's another hazard of walking in the snow on uneven ground. But I'm okay. Only a slight twinge. Oh yeah, this will probably freeze solid by beginning of December, somewhere in there. And later on, of course, there'll be people. Last year, somebody built a skating rink right here. Just cleared off the snow. You're not really supposed to do that, apparently, but people do it. In midwinter, you can drive cars on the ice in Saskatchewan lakes, and people do because they go ice fishing. Thanks. I'll try. A little late now. I've already almost twisted my foot. There is a slight twinge there, but nothing important. As I said, when it snowed for the first time last year, which was on November 11th, you can go back and watch. It's all these are archived. In fact, there's usually 2 versions of them. There's the live version, then I upload the saved version later because it's higher resolution and there's no buffering in case there was any along the way. Anyway, November 11th last year, I took a nasty fall while walking and had to restart the feed and assure everybody I was still alive because of the way I went down it. Because then the feed got lost and it must have looked like I'd been run over by a truck or something. No harm done. I was a little banged up, but nothing serious. That was the only fall I had last year. I tried to be very careful. And I do have some walking sticks, which I might start considering using in one hand because I can use that in my left hand and it might help a little. Let's see, where's this path? Not there, here. There is a bit of a path here, although you can't really see it by this playground over here. Somebody's been making snowmen. Not very successful ones, but they tried. Whoa. Oh, here's the path. Maybe, kind of, not really. I have no idea if I'm on the path or not. It seems like I'm just walking through fresh snow. No, there's the path. No, I was on the path and I wandered off the path, I think. Here's the path. Yeah, can't really see it up there, but I can see it down here. What exercise that is easy to play in the winter? Well, people who are into it, this is of course hockey season. People play hockey. Cross-country skiing. We don't have a lot of downhill skiing. In Saskatchewan, there's a little bit in river valleys, but it's nothing like skiing in the mountains, obviously. Tobogganing. And of course all the indoor sports. People, this is also basketball season. Any gym sport, people play that no matter what the weather is, obviously. But outdoor sports, skiing, hockey's not an outdoor sport, but it's played in a cold rink. And sometimes it's an outdoor sport if all you've got is an outdoor rink. And just skating for fun, of course. This is Garnet Street, which is where I lived when I first moved to this neighborhood. 1988. No, wait a minute. I lived up in the Northwest for a couple of years, so it might have been about 1990 when I moved to this neighborhood. Either way, 30 years ago when I arrived in this neighborhood. I lived on Garnet Street, and I live over here on Angus Crescent, so it's been my neighborhood now for... Oop, rabbit. Usually see one along here. I'm not chasing him. Yeah, go that way, don't run off and get hit by a car. I'd feel bad if you did that. He hasn't turned white yet, so he's starting to. Like he has white on him, but eventually he'll be all white in the next month or so. Don't know if that's a rabbit or a snowshoe hare. I need to look up the precise difference. We have both. The hare should be bigger, but you don't have one to compare with. Is that the alley up there? Yeah, it is. That's where I want to go. This is Leopold Crescent now. I am not a skier myself, but my brother is, or was, when he was younger, and had better knees. I've done a little cross-country skiing. He's over there nibbling on that branch, the rabbit is. There are rabbits and hares are two different species. And I think we have both a type of rabbit and we have snowshoe hares. And I'm never sure which one I'm seeing. If you saw them side by side, the hare would be bigger. So for a while I was calling them all snowshoe hares, but then I did a little research and discovered we actually do have rabbits too, so I'm never sure which I'm seeing, a rabbit or a hare. So this will bring me up to Angus Crescent, which is the crescent I live on, and just a short way down that and I'll be done for today. This is our crescent, Angus Crescent. Old neighborhood, as you can see. Most of these houses are pushing 100 years old. Ours will be 100 years old in 3 years. Some of them are already 100 years old. I'm not sure. The oldest ones, I think, are further down, though. I don't think they're up this way. I could be wrong. But everything would have been built probably in the 1920s along here, or 30s, and a few earlier. The oldest one I know of was built in 1914. We won't go past it here, it's around the corner. And it has elm trees, which, you know, a few of them have gone over the years, but the fact we've kept our elm trees with Dutch elm disease around is... This is an important historical plaque, which you can't see because of the snow. That house belonged to a former premier. Oh, it's hard to read all these texts. Yeah, well, birds will stick around. Some birds stick around all winter. A lot of them, of course, fly south. Some people feed them, which helps them over the winter. Our neighbor used to have a bird feeder. He used to always have birds around. But he doesn't. They moved, very old, some time ago. I think that house is going to get torn down and somebody's going to build a new one. And whether they'll have a bird feeder or not, I don't know. I don't want a bird feeder because we have enough birds pooping all over our deck anyway out of the old lilac bush that's in the backyard. Don't need to encourage more birds. Okay, we're almost to the intersection where I will stop. There's a dog. Still, certainly not as many as we sometimes see. And of course, snow shoveling is happening everywhere. I already did our yard, or at least our sidewalk. Morning. And here's where I will stop. So, thanks for walking with me. First walk in the snow for autumn 2022. And I will be back tomorrow, I would think. Might be a walk downtown tomorrow. Probably also still in the snowy streets.